Hello, everybody. My name is Todd Villeneuve, Managing Partner of IFC National Marketing. This is our second State of the Market webinar, and I'm to be honest, I'm a little anxious, a little nervous. I got off the plane, and this morning when I looked for my blazer, I figured I think I left it on the plane. So at 7 o'clock this morning, I ran to Target, bought a new shirt, and I noticed I didn't even take the tag off of it, if you can see that.
Hey Todd, does that say XXL on your thing?
Mitch, you're a dick. Anyhow, no, it's always good to have agent friends in the background, yes. I just talked to, we just set up a recording and we had a little bit of it live this morning, and I talked to a lot of the Minnesota group, and I talked about how how badass they were about this fall and what they did. And it isn't because it isn't any different for you guys. Everybody in their market was challenged. You just know if we're going to rate things 1 to 50, they won on the taking an ass kicking game when it came to what happened in their market. And all you guys were probably in a close second, third, or fourth. But what everybody did in every market is that they didn't whine as long as we thought they were. They didn't complain as much as we thought they were. And what they did is their job. They actually sat down and talked to the people, even though they knew it was going to be for free. I call that like a calling. And a calling is defined as a strong urge towards a particular way of life or career or a vocation. Todd, can you use it in a sentence? Actually, I can. Those who have a special calling to minister to others' needs is a calling. So I got that we didn't get into this industry to go broke. And we signed no Hippocratic oath. And in Minnesota, I'll tell you a story, we have about 1,700 agents, and I expected a bunch of them to quit. We only had 2 chuck the keys on the floor January 1st. And they were close to retirement, but that was the straw that broke the back. But be that aside, everybody in the markets that we work in, and it's 45 states in the nation now, everybody buckled down, talked to their people, did their job, provided their vocation, and had their calling and met with their people, even if it meant no compensation. And I think that's amazing. We were really excited about the explosion when it came to ancillary products and hospital indemnity and cancer and more dental and vision and all that stuff. So people found ways to make avenues to get there. So what we were really excited about is that we've got that momentum. We have a new skill set, and we're going to talk about that today. How can we use this new skill set and go forward? Everything we're going to talk about today is going to be in a link or in an FAQ or available for you to grab, pick up, and whatever. There'll be some QR codes, there'll be links in the chat and all that kind of stuff. Well, actually, there's no live chat, really, because this is being taped, so that won't be. So remember that everything is going to be there. Our agenda today is pretty simple. I just got to read it. We're going to start with George Dipple. George is with Deft Research, and he's also a partner with Integrity, one of the foremost buying trends speakers in the nation. He's going to talk to you about what we found out this fall, and you'll be really surprised and happy to see. Then we'll bring Ryan Kimball in. He's going to talk for a little bit about where, and Ryan is the president of health distribution for all of Integrity. That's nearly 600,000 agents. And he's going to talk about what they learned and what trends are coming up and what we're seeing in the future. And then I also asked Chris Kolowich, who's a VP of Medicare Supplements and Ancillary Products at Integrity also. These are thought experts in their fields. And he's going to talk about what he's seeing coming up new, kind of what have got us here in the place where MedSubs are, and why MedSubs is probably going to be a larger piece of your future. After Chris Kolowich, we're going to go to Chris Kleisner. He's going to be a national agent panel with some of our large partner offices. We'll go over into IFC cost selling and talk about different ways we can win and really maximize that new skill set that we took. Chris Kleisner will come back, talk about some little national companies overview, and then we'll be open for some question and answer at the end. I think this day will be packed, or this seminar will be packed with a lot of information. It's taped, so you can watch it as you want. And if you have any questions, just fax us, or not fax us, who does that anymore? Just text us or email us or shoot us something that either info at IFC National Marketing, Todd, Naomi, whoever, just send us some questions as you come across them. And we'll make sure that we get those answers back to you. So without any further ado, I'd like you to listen to my friend George Dipple. Let's talk about the other side of that coin. What unforeseen events happened, and what do you believe caused them? And I think you might have a visual for this answer.
You're right. I do have a visual for this answer. And so what I would say is, yeah, like known issues that we had going in the AP, we thought seniors were more frustrated than they've ever been before. Well, we don't know, and we don't know this until the whole market knows it, is basically on 10/1 when all the new benefits come out. And leading up to that time, right, we knew that the senior was frustrated. We wanted to see what exactly the carriers were going to do, right? And that was, I would say, was the big surprise. So if we have a chance to put that slide up, slide 1, we took a look at what happened in terms of carrier disruption, right, leading up to the AEP. Now, this chart is a little bit of an eyesore, so I hope people aren't watching this before they've had their morning coffee. But one of the things that we do every year is we say, okay, how much more change, either good change, so think positive green numbers, or bad change, are consumers and states feeling when the new benefits come out on 10/1? And like I said, we knew from the senior that they were frustrated, but the piece that we don't get until 10/1 is, what are the carriers going to do? Are they going to degrade benefits? Are they going to increase benefits? Are they going to pull back out of the market? Are they going to make plans suppressed? Are they going to go non-commissionable? And what this chart shows on a state-by-state basis is when you think about how things were 2024 leading into 2025, and then compare how they ended up being 2025 to 2026, this tells you the change year to year. All right, so what these numbers mean is anything that is 0 means if you are an agent, let's say you're working in the state of Indiana, you look at Indiana, it says -2. What does that mean? This past year, it was a little bit more disruptive in Indiana than the year before, right? But not a whole lot. If you look at a state, let's say like Florida, 0. They had the same amount of disruption for 2025 as they saw in 2026. You look at Georgia. Georgia was really hammered for 2025. It's not as disruptive in 2026. But the point here is, when you're comparing disruption, was it positive, was it negative, and how did this year compare to last year? There isn't a whole lot of green on this chart, okay? There's not a lot of states where IFC agents work where you could say this year was less disruptive than last year, okay? There's a whole lot of red on this chart, okay? And that's what we learned on 10/1, the degree of the benefit disruption, right? The number of non-commissionable plans, the number of exits. So when you look at those red bars, the deeper the red, the more negative the number means this year was significantly more negatively disruptive than last year. When you take a look at that chart, okay, most of the nation saw things get harder for this year than last year, right? But no one really had it harder. I mean, you could say the DC did at -45, but Todd, no one really had it harder than the agents and agencies that are committed to serving the seniors in the state of Minnesota, okay? It was a tough year. That's what we didn't see coming. We knew that seniors were frustrated, right? We had the non-commissionable announcements. We saw the benefit degradation, right? And that's what we saw. It wasn't just the seniors that said, I'm out, I'm frustrated. The carriers had to degrade benefits. And that combination led across the entire nation to more switching in Medicare Advantage this year and Medicare overall than we have ever seen at any time in the 20 years that Deft Research has been in this industry.
Yeah, we look at this, and I look at some of the national trends, and I'm seeing a lot of red and a lot of dark red. I know what happened here. The largest failed, when I say here, I mean Minnesota, the largest failed network ever in the history of mankind. But 186,000 members sent back into the populace, and there's just a ton of negativity when it comes to some of that. And what would you say in regards to this industry and obviously this fantastic profession? What kind of keeps you optimistic after you build a slide like this, kind of coming into this next AEP?
You know what? We have another slide for that. If we throw up the second slide, what I would say is, right, and I've been doing this a long time, and Deft Research has been doing this a long time. But we've never seen as much disruption in these last 2 years. Okay, we just have never seen this level of disruption. You go back a long time, 2013, 2014, it was pretty bumpy. Those 2 years, we had between 5% of the Medicare Advantage market termed or 3%. And those were records terms. Hey, last year, not this year, last year, we had 9% of the market had their coverage termed. This year is 12%. So we blew away the quote unquote disruption we had a decade ago with what we've seen these last 2 years. And what I would say is, there was every reason this year, disrupted plans, suppressed plans, reduced commission, eliminated commission, threats of non-renewal commission, all that negativity. There was every reason in the world for seniors to not receive the same level of service from the independent agent as they would expect or need. Right? You can make that argument. There was every reason for those two entities to separate. Right? The non-commissionable action is meant to separate agent, right, from consumer. But the reality is, when we look at this slide, there's never been a year where more seniors as a percentage in Medicare Advantage were serviced by the independent agent. That 24% number there is a record. And what we know from the work that we have done at Depth Research, the more disruption that happens in a market, the more the senior has to find their guardian angel to assist them. Right? When things are smooth and your benefits don't go down and your costs don't go up and you don't see plan terms and cross, when everything is hunky-dory, as a senior, you can make an argument they don't need as much help. They don't need as much of a guardian angel. But when the you-know-what hits the fan, and I can't swear, Todd, so I'm going to say when the you-know-what hits the fan, you can swear, this is your podcast, right? But I can't. But when the you-know-what hits the fan, that's when the senior needs their guardian angel. Our research tells us there are 3 potential guardian angels that a senior can reach out to make sense out of a very disruptive market. Number 1, the government, Medicare.gov, talk to people at Social Security, et cetera. Number 2, the carrier. And then number 3, the agent. What we know at Depth is when the senior is more serviced by the agent, as you see on this chart here, the bond between senior and agent doesn't weaken. It strengthens. And I think at the end of the day, what the final chapter in this book is going to read, it's going to say that there was rampant disruption, this period of tough rates for carriers and all these challenges with higher utilization. But what that disruption did is it made more valuable the services that the independent agent provide, despite the fact that the industry may have been trying to separate agent from consumer. I think that is going to be how the final story reads when this disruption is finally past us.
Absolutely. I think the result or the unseen or the lurking variable, using my Six Sigma training, George, there you go, is that the agents sold the right product, regardless of commission, when it came right down to it. I'm looking at your numbers here. When 90% of the plans across the market had changes, that means 90% of those people had to have a conversation with an agent. And the other couple of stats that jumped out to me here is, of the people that used agents, 83% of them were multi-product. They were solution-minded, had a full portfolio of options for their clients. So I think the hang one flag on the mast is kind of days gone by. When you start to take a look at some of these things.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Kimball, president of Integrity Health, and it's a pleasure to come to you, IFC agents, to talk more about what's going on in the health market. To give you a little bit of background, so I've been licensed since 1996, which feels like forever ago, but that's when I got started in the insurance business, selling individual health policies at that time, and then worked in a business that ended up being a brokerage to where we worked with agents and agencies throughout the early 2000s in the Medicare space, specifically on Medicare supplements, and we still did a bunch of under age 65 individual medical and group. And then, as most of you know, once Medicare Advantage and Part D came out, a lot of us got in that marketplace. So for for me, my history goes back to the health space. In the under 65 and over 65 space, I have the pleasure of being Integrity's president of the health side of our business. And that includes all the health products that you all sell today, as well as some of the products that you may not sell in the group space. But we work on the Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, over 65 ancillary products, as well as the under age 65 ACA plans, and then the ancillary side of the house too. And so what my job today is to talk to you guys more about what's happening in health insurance for 2026, maybe look back at 2025, give you a little bit of an overview of what we saw, and I think what we see is good momentum rolling into 2026. So let's talk about the last 2 years for a second. So 2024 and 2025, as you guys know, have been the most disruptive eras or times of the year for Medicare Advantage. I've been doing this since '05. In 2024, we saw 1.7 million Medicare beneficiaries go through a service reduction. In 2025, we saw 2.8 million Medicare beneficiaries go through a service area reduction. So these are members losing their plans. A lot of that is a result of the Inflation Reduction Act and how carriers ultimately were positioned in the marketplace. It's also a result of continued increases in the MLR side. So the medical loss ratio for insurance carriers is at an all-time high over the last 2 years. But what we see today, though, as we look at 2026 is positivity. And that's in the Medicare Advantage space in a few different areas. So first, as you guys know, the Medicare Advantage population continues to grow. Our Medicare over 65 group will be at about 70 million Americans in 2027. So we're still on that growth trajectory. And the good news is it continues to be complex. And the complexity around that puts insurance agents like you all in a great position to ultimately help Medicare beneficiaries. Now, we are challenged at times with both commissionable, non-commissionable plans, pullouts, and maybe disruption in the marketplace. But being in the center of it all and being in a position where you can help, one, your current members, but also your future prospects, puts us as an industry and you individually in a unique position. You're a trusted resource for Medicare beneficiaries as they try to go through the decision-making process on what's best for them. So front end, we have 70 million people coming into the marketplace or that are in the market now. You have a complex marketplace where the insurance agent is that trusted resource. We have technology today that makes agents more efficient, and we continue to see AI helping us do that. So if you're not using Integrity Connect, this would be a plug to start using Integrity Connect. We see from our data agents are 79% more effective by using the Integrity Connect. That comes from an efficiency perspective and your ability to help Medicare beneficiaries. But the last thing I would say in the Medicare space is that we also see CMS, through their proposed rule that came out a couple months ago, really look at insurance agents as the key to helping Medicare beneficiaries understand their options. And then two, trying to change some of the rules around how agents engage with members to make it easier for all of us. So I think one, you have an administration that supports Medicare Advantage. I think two, we have an industry that's obviously continues to grow and it's big in scale. Three, we have technology that's helping us, ultimately be more efficient in that marketplace. And then lastly, I think we have a scenario where, again, the administration's putting us in a positive position to help Medicare beneficiaries as we go forward. So 2026, as we go through the year, we'll be looking at what happens in the AEP of 2027. And I think we'll see continued, maybe a downward turn in disruption, which means disruption is a little bit less, even with the most recent rate notice. So that's positive. And this fall coming up, we'll be able to help more beneficiaries as we go through the process. So you guys do an incredible amount of work. I think it's maybe at times lost on the industry how important insurance agents are to each Medicare beneficiary. But I would encourage you to obviously lean into Medicare Advantage and lean into Medicare supplements and continue to help those that are underserved and maybe need help in the education process to learn more about what's happening and what they can choose. Now, maybe speaking about Medicare supplements for a second. So the Medicare supplement market is similar to Medicare Advantage in the fact that that market continues to change from a rate and pricing standpoint. The good news is the last 2 years, the carriers have continued to increase rates and become more stable, which what we see from that perspective is we see more carriers wanting to get into the Medicare supplement space because now they can be profitable. If you don't know, Medicare supplement companies, when they come in, they're on a trajectory of trying to get to profitability on a member at like year 6, 7, or 8, and sometimes that gets extended to year 10. So as you can imagine, insurance companies want to make sure that the market's at the right price point to then be competitive. And we've seen that time and time again. We see it now. We see the carriers continuing to be in a position where rates are starting to be more competitive and starting to float up. We see more carriers wanting to come in the market. I think what that'll drive is overall competition for the states that you're in or the markets that you're in to help consumers ultimately get in the right product. We see obviously huge success in some of the standardized plans like Plan G. We see agents moving to Plan N as well as they're trying to reduce costs for Medicare beneficiaries. But we are a big believer in Medicare supplements. We continue to help carriers build those products. And I think as we continue down the path, Medicare supplements will be a strong product for seniors to choose, especially those who don't have the same affordability issues as those that are jumping into Medicare Advantage product line. So for us as insurance agents and maybe advisors for consumers, Medicare supplements continues to give you that alternative choice relative to Medicare Advantage and helps consumers in a way that Medicare Advantage can't. And I would continue to have that as part of your portfolio of sales options as we think about how to serve Medicare beneficiaries in the right way. Ancillary products for a second, I'll talk about those both over age 65 and under age 65. Last AEP, so the thing about, just about 2 or 3 months ago, we saw a huge rise in ancillary product sales. And predominantly it's where agents who are working with consumers in the Medicare Advantage space understand that those consumers need to have access to these products. At times it's dental insurance, at times it's cancer, a lot of times it's hospital indemnity insurance. And these products help offset some of the gaps in Medicare Advantage primarily, or maybe even some of the product options that Medicare Supplement doesn't offer when it comes to dental plans. And I think as we kind of move forward, insurance agents continue to understand that if I don't offer these products to my consumer, somebody else will. And the consumer needs to be served. I'm the trusted resource. So I want to make sure that I understand when a dental plan is the right fit, when a hospital indemnity plan is the right fit. And obviously the team at IFC can help you guys better understand of one, how to open up that conversation, and then two, how to make sure that product is the right fit at the right time, and ultimately the consumer gets served. So back to the ancillary products, the good news is we continue to see a ton of sales growth in that market space, both over 65 as we're supporting Medicare beneficiaries, and then under 65 as we have those in the ACA space and those that are ultimately maybe on ACA alternative products. And maybe to turn our focus to ACA now. So that market, as you know, continues to evolve. Now we have a good sense for what's happening on the subsidy side. And I think what we see in the ACA space is a mature market now. We have obviously more people than ever enrolled in an ACA plan. And the unique thing is that insurance agents are in a position where now they are helping about 78% of those members enroll in those plans. So if under age 65 and ACA is something that you're not in today, I would definitely encourage you to do that. As we all know, when a husband and wife turn 65, they don't do that on the same day. So a good chunk of our customers are under 65 when we first meet them, and your opportunity to help them with the ACA plan also puts you in a great position to then transition those members into Medicare when they turn 65. But we see ACA as a blossoming space when it comes to how agents can also be a really important source of truth for under age 65 individuals. And we see the CMS side of the house promoting insurance agents in that marketplace too. They just came out with their proposed rule. I think there's some really good things in that proposed rule that'll help agents kind of be better positioned going forward. And I think the rule changes are really to help get some of the bad actors out of the ACA space. And so short story is if you're in ACA, you already know the story on how good that market is and how much you can serve people under 65. If you're not in the ACA space, then I would really encourage you to get into that marketplace because you're serving the same type of customers. Their ages are just different, and those products look and feel very similar to Medicare Advantage. And you have an opportunity as an advisor to help those people make sure they get in the right plan going forward. And I think we'll continue to see with this administration, more positive things coming out of the ACA space. It'll create more competition, better pricing, and again, agents being an important piece to the overall strategy for ACA. So long story short, 2024, 2025 obviously had challenges. Several markets like Minnesota and others saw maybe more challenges than the rest of the country. We do see, though, that agents are continuing to be ensconced as like the truth source for Medicare Advantage beneficiaries and those that are under 65. And I think the tailwinds that we have is that we have an administration that continues to look at ACA as a way, how can we innovate on the ACA side? How can we come up with new products and new opportunities that'll create more competition and better products and solutions for your clients? And I think on the Medicare side, Medicare Advantage side, is you continue to have carriers that are now getting stable in that marketplace, which means we should see a reduction in plans that are either non-commissionable or those that have service area reductions. So good things to look out for 2026. I think the market on both sides continues to stabilize. And the last thing I would say is I would encourage everybody to be active. Like be active in your state with NABIB, NAIFA, HAFA. We do a lot of work with those three associations, both at the state and local level, but then in DC. I'm scheduled to go to DC in a couple weeks. Meeting with NABIP and ultimately meeting with some of our folks on the House and Senate side to drive better outcomes for insurance agents in the marketplace. And I think all of us, as what I would say is entrepreneurs, have our own little business that we either big, medium, or small, but we're trying to grow and do our own thing. At times, as an industry, we don't come together as well as we can. And if we do that, then we can let our voices be heard at the state level and then at the national level to create the change that we need to see to make sure that our industry continues to blossom. So good things ahead in 2026. I hope you guys have a tremendous conference. Thank you guys for all you do. If there's any way I can help, feel free to reach out. LinkedIn is the best way to get a hold of me. More than happy to help in any way possible. And I wish you guys the best of luck in 2026 and then into the enrollment periods for 2027. Thanks, everybody. Ryan Kimball signing off.
Hello, IFC agents. Chris Kolowich here, joining you guys virtually. I'm so excited to be with you all today. Todd had asked me to come on and talk a little bit about the Medicare supplement market and really the overall Medicare market in some ways, and how we're viewing and particularly bullish on some of the things that are taking place in the Medicare supplement market. Just to give you guys a little bit of background on myself, I've been in the industry for several years now. I actually started in this industry. It's all I've ever known. And when I first started out in the business, I worked for a brokerage, very similar to IFC. We partnered with Integrity in 2017. And during that time, I've worked in account management. I've worked in sales, both with agents and also with customers. And then really had more formative years that I spent in product development, and particularly Medicare supplements. And what is that, you may ask? Well, what we primarily did is we worked with carriers to bring new Medicare supplements to market, whether that be the first time that they've entered the Medicare supplement space or they've already had an existing product and they wanted to go a little bit deeper into that segment. So we've worked with actuaries, we've worked with marketing teams, we've worked with sales teams and administration teams, underwriting teams, you name it, to really understand end-to-end the whole process of bringing a great Medicare supplement to market. And during that time, obviously, I've built a lot of great relationships with carriers and continued to stay in touch with them. And I think more particularly in the last few years, their actuarial teams. As we've seen the Medicare supplement market go through a number of changes in the last several years. And just real quickly, just to give you guys a little bit of background on what we've seen, particularly in the last 5 or 6 years or so, and why it's led to the moment in time that we are today. And I think that's important as we think about moving forward, what that looks like. So we go back to even pre-2020, we saw Medicare supplements moving towards this moment where we're going to have a macro environment, post-macro environment come 1/1/2020. And what that meant was folks that were aging into Medicare post 1/1/2020, Plan F was no longer their guaranteed issue plan. It was going to be Plan G. So we saw folks started moving to Plan G prior to 1/1/2020, and then that further accelerated as we moved into 2020. And if you guys remember, obviously 2020 there was a global pandemic that took place that year, and Medicare supplement market overall was heading for really a rate reset leading into that. But what that did was further delay that reset. And as we think about what carriers are able to do when it comes to their rates as from a year to year basis, all their rate changes have to be based on claims experience. And what 2020 did was actually decreased all of the claims that carriers were seeing. So they were not able to take rate adjustments that were commensurate with what the overall book had. And so as we come out the tail end of COVID in 2020, there's really this catch-up cycle that carriers have been going on. And that's what's led to what we've seen of double-digit rate increases for the last several years. And I think it's important to add in context is we've looked and worked in this space for many, many years. The market tends to do this over time where we see high rate increases and then it starts to go back down and gets ultra competitive again with more carriers entering the market. And we're just in one of those unique moments of time. So I really wanted you guys to understand kind of what is taking place so that you guys can best explain it to your clients. And if I had to just say one thing for each and every one of you related to that is this is a unique moment in time. And it is not one that we anticipate extending much longer. We've met with several carriers in the last few months. They feel that they're right on the tail end of this, meaning that we may see new product entrants into the marketplace in the next 6 to 12 months or even 12 plus months that carriers will file for new paper. And that's a great sign for the healthiness of the marketplace overall. What I would expect for 2026 is another year of double-digit rate increases. But that's okay, right? Because we feel we are on the tail end of this. And the one thing that I would say during these moments when you have a lot of disruption, we saw it on the MA side, but when we have a lot of disruption on the med sub side, it's great as an agent for you to continue to solidify and strengthen the relationships that you have with your current customers, but also go out and find new customers. Now, where do you focus your time during this? Well, we know from our buddy George Dipple at Deft Research that folks just aging into Medicare, really 65 to 68, those first 3 or 4 years of Medicare are critical for retention for the carrier and also us as agents, right? And so your clients that are newer to Medicare, focus on them during these disruptive times. The folks that have been in a Medicare supplement for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, well, they're most likely going to stick there because that's just what they're accustomed to at this point. You may want to check in with them, obviously, during an annual review and see if they have any curiousness of what the marketplace looks like and see if you can get them into a new plan. But ultimately, primarily, if you have limited bandwidth, focus on those newer customers into Medicare and then also focus your marketing strategies around folks that are that age as well. And you'll generally see a higher return from it. Overall, as we look at the marketplace moving forward, again, I mentioned 6, 12, maybe 18 months where we start seeing the market come back down to normalcy. We'll start to see carriers be a little bit more aggressive in their pricing. But that does mean that we've got to continue to exercise that muscle and continue to work with our customers on Medicare supplement because that moment's going to happen pretty quickly. It'll be here before we know it. And you want to make sure that you're prepared for it. Even during these moments where we continue to see Medicare Advantage grow, we've seen Medicare supplement grow as well. We have over 5.6 million lives that are now on Medicare supplement plans across the country. And that continues to grow at 3% year over year. So folks are still choosing Medicare supplement for all the reasons that they've always chosen it, right? Freedom of choice of being able to go to any provider, any network, any hospital without prior authorizations, right? To be able to have a little bit of peace of mind around if I continue to pay my premiums, that plan will continue to renew year after year after year. So again, continue to instill that into your customers. Folks are still gravitating towards those plans. One thing I did want to share with you guys, particular to the Minnesota market, we saw a lot of disruption in Minnesota this past year, particularly during AEP, and maybe more so specifically with UCare. Now, I was just with a carrier last week meeting with them, and we were talking about Minnesota specifically. And I said, hey, what are you guys seeing about or thinking as you guys received all this business during the AEP? Is there cause for concern because of any adverse selection that may have taken place? And they said, first 2 months look great. We believe our plan was priced in the right spot to be able to absorb as much of that business as we got, in even wanting to take on more. So for me, that's an incredibly encouraging sign as you have these unique moments where folks are moving from MA to MedSup and you really don't know what you have. But for this carrier, a big name carrier in the space, to say that adds a lot of confidence into what we see overall in the marketplace. So as we think about other opportunities in the marketplace, INA, Medicare Supplement, a great MedSup that continues to be a leader in the industry. If any of you are working in birthday rule states, you'll see that INA is paying full commission for the lifetime of the policy in all of those states. And why is that, you may ask? Well, as we think about birthday rule states and how impactful they've been the last few years in Medicare Supplement, and the sheer number of them that have entered into the arena from a Medicare Supplement perspective, carriers want to make sure that they're able to price for the appropriate risk that they're getting. And with a birthday rule state, that generally makes it a little bit more difficult because folks are moving from the lowest plan to the lowest plan every year, no health questions asked, right? It's great for a customer in one sense because they're able to move from plan to plan to plan. But overall, what happens is the marketplace continues to rise and rise and rise. So what INA was able to do, and you guys may be familiar with the brand Chubb, they're part of the Chubb company, is they're able to add in lifetime commissions for those birthday rule states. And so for you as an agent, what you're able to see is not just years 1 through 6 or years 1 through 7 that you're going to receive your elevated comp. You're going to receive that same levelized comp for the life of the policy. And so as we continue to see members get rate increases and those continue to tick up, not only are you going to receive the comp as those members are continued to be retained, but you're also going to receive comp on the increases of those policies. So let's just make as a quick example. If you're receiving 15% commission and you're receiving on a $1,600 annualized premium, well, if someone gets a 10% rate increase, they're now going to be at $1,760 annualized premium. You're still going to receive 15% commission, but it's now on this higher premium amount. So a lot of great examples of what some carriers are doing to be a little bit more innovative in the space and adjusting to the marketplace. INA is one of those. As we continue to bring products to markets with carriers, we believe that strategy will be something that we want to continue to layer in for years to come, because we believe it's going to be a healthier book of business for the carrier. It's going to allow for you as the agent to retain your book of business and focus on growth rather than rewriting your customers. And overall, it's just a better member experience if they're not having to switch year after year after year. And we're able to continue to serve more and more people. So just wanted to give you guys a few quick nuggets today. I appreciate all that you guys do and want to say that to Todd and the entire team, thank you guys. For all the agents out there, listen, the last few years have been incredibly disruptive. You guys have absolutely killed it. Continue killing it. And there's no better partner to do it than with IFC. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thanks everyone for joining us. It's a great pleasure to be here in front of a whole bunch of IFC agents out there and sitting here virtually with some of the top IFC agents that we have in the business. So again, very grateful IFC gets to serve agents like you every day and your downline agents, and very humbled to be in your presence. So with that, we have an agent panel. We're just going to have a conversation today. I would say focusing on looking forward, glancing back and focusing forward. So we all know kind of what we went through the last year or two in the MA space and some disruptions to the market. So with me today, I want to first call out Mr. Kevin Rohde, a wonderful agent. Kevin Rohde serves as president of Benefit Insurance Group, LLC, bringing extensive expertise in Medicare plans, marketplace insurance, comprehensive coverage solutions, to individuals and families across the country. Licensed in 48 states, leading a network of over 50 agents throughout the country. Kevin has built an organization committed to personalized service, client education at every level. With his 34 years of industry experience. Kevin's located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Welcome, Kevin. Also with me today, I have James Romeo out of Minneapolis, or Minnesota, I should say. James has extensive background working for national carriers before finding his passion in the Medicare space. He worked at an outside agent for Humana for many years. And in 2013, with his father, Joe, they started MediChoice Insurance Agency. As an independent agency, they have worked through tough years, similar to what many of you have experienced, always putting their clients' needs and wants first. Joe retired in 2020, leaving James to run the show himself. And James has grown the business in many ways, always heeding to their core focus of it's a labor of love helping clients with their health insurance decisions in retirement. It's confusing for many of them. So I couldn't say it better myself. Their confusion is our job security, but yeah, thanks for joining us today, James. Also with us today is Kevin Trubenbach. He's a graduate of Winona State University and is co-owner of Transition Health Benefits, located in southeastern Wisconsin, and has 26 years in the business. THB, Transition Health Benefits, insures 20,000 belly buttons as of 2025. I'm sure that's gone up, Kevin. And outside of the office, he enjoys golfing, camping, riding his Harley, enjoying the outdoors with his wife and kids, and hope to golf with you this summer, Kevin. So welcome. And then lastly, we have Doug Parrish. He's president and principal of JDP, an insurance agency specializing in Medicare solutions for clients. They're based out of Arizona with over 20 years of industry experience, 200 downline agents nationwide. Doug is for his agents. And on a side note, Doug is a big hockey fan. So we'll see how that rolls in today's conversation. But welcome, gentlemen. With that, let's just start out here. We all know the market's been a little crazy. And I guess what's burning question for me, and I've heard a lot about, hey, everyone get in the Medicare supplement space again. Let me throw this first over to Mr. Kevin Rohde. What are your thoughts on the rebirth of Medicare supplement plan? Are we gonna see a rebirth, would you say, in 2026 and beyond?
Sure. I think Medicare supplements have a place and need for certain people, just like certain Medicare Advantage plans are right for certain people. I've been always giving my customers the option, explaining both options, and ultimately letting my customers decide what's best for them. I think in the past, I've had a lot of Medicare supplement customers change to Medicare Advantage plans just because of the rising cost of the supplements. And now I seem to have some customers that have been on Advantage plans for many years start asking more about wanting to go to a supplement this, later in life.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes total sense, right? Everyone loves a Medicare Advantage plan with a zero premium until they have to use it, and then some still love it and some don't. What would you agree with that, Doug, or what's your take on what you feel you and your agents are going to be seeing in the Medicare supplement space?
Yeah, I agree with that totally. That's exactly what I'm seeing is, a lot of them are in med sups until they reach a certain age, and then they get to the point where the premium's killing them, and then they want to go to Medicare Advantage. But with some of the things that we've seen, we're seeing more and more people consider that med sup and look at that again.
Mm-hmm. James, anything to add to that? Why you feel clients like Medicare supplement plans?
I think the biggest draw to Medicare supplement plans is the flexibility of being able to see any doctors. I think that we're kind of blessed in the Twin Cities where we have great Advantage plans that have broad networks, but I think we're going to continue to see more narrowing as that happens. And I think people like the option of being able to see any doctors that they want to see. I agree with the price. The price difference is going to be the biggest downfall. I don't know if insurance companies can introduce additional supplements or different ratings, kind of like Blue Cross has with the senior gold versus basic and things like that. But the downside of the supplements is they're always going to get more and more expensive every single year, and there's not really a way to stop that. except to get more people in there that are healthy. So.
You got it. Avoid that death spiral, right? Super. Let's move on. Kevin Trubenbach, quick question, because you scaled pretty quickly and over time, long trajectory. But when you scale quickly, quickly as some agencies do out there, or even in your own experience, looking back, what made the difference and that allowed you to scale? What made the difference? And then maybe also, what are things you would have passed on looking back? Maybe things you wouldn't have done, if any. But what insights do you have on good ways of scaling quickly for the agent out there?
Well, the biggest thing is having a good team of associates around you to support. And for us, we all, nobody likes insurance, but guess what? As you bring on these new associates, you have to find out and ask them, hey, do you like selling Affordable Care Act, ACA plans, Medicare? So if I don't like selling Medicare, well, I'm not going to force you to do it. Then, hey, let's do the ACA. So I think that's been finding the personality of that person and then working with that associate. And then, trying to find the all-inclusive, leads. How do you find these leads? But I think that's how we've scaled is by networking, doing a lot of community stuff, the face-to-face seminars, but it's having that, team of people. I mean, 10 years ago, there was 4 of us at our office, and now we're close to 20 people in the office.
Awesome, share. Yeah, right, like butts in the right seats, right? You got somebody, they got talent. If they're not hitting the marks, why not? Maybe they got the knowledge and they're just kind of in the wrong seat, so to speak. Love it. Yeah. Scaling, how about you, Doug? Any insights on, you got quite an outline. You've obviously done a lot of things right. What do you think led to your success in being able to scale like you did looking back? And were there any things you would have passed on? Stuff you did that were bombs and maybe didn't work?
So I decided many, many years ago to do educational programs. I was one of the first ones around the Phoenix area to do educational. Now there was just a report out by Jared Strock on LinkedIn about the number of educational programs are going to continue to grow and grow and grow. So we've used that as a basis to kind of help get into these different locations and do that. And then we've got a program where we get leads from one of the plans, and we're getting about 150,000 leads a month. And I'm headed to the Philippines to try to turn that into live transfers for these agents. So that's really where we're going to scale up.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, for a lot of agents, and IFC can help in some areas with the seminar selling and stuff. Mr. Kevin Rohde, I know you really do well in that space of kind of taking it on as your own and probably could develop a turnkey sales approach to seminar selling. What advice would you give to an agent? Should they be in the seminar space? If so, are there any tips or tricks that you have that you'd like to share? You might be on mute, Kevin.
Yep, thank you. So I think the seminar space is for anyone who's willing to get in front of people and talk to them, groups of people at a time. For me, it's been a great way to build my book of business by getting in front of dozens of people for an hour as compared to meeting with people individually, 1 or 2 people at a time per hour. I can see a lot more people. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of T65 in-person dinner seminars this time of the year in Northeast Wisconsin. And I'm also in the fall, I roughly do, at least 60 seminars during AEP where I invite my existing book of business for an annual review. And it's a way for me to see as many people as I can in a short period of time, because with my size of book that it's impossible to see everyone individually or even talk to them individually while still trying to grow my book of business.
Awesome. Does anyone else do a lot of seminar selling or have their agents do that? James, you do?
Yeah, so we did kind of the same thing for our current clients. We ran roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 80 client meetings for our current clients. We see about 20, 25 people a meeting, and it's all about, hey, everybody in the room, you're on Blue Cross or Medica or whatever, and you're all on this particular plan. Here's the updated plan information. Here's what's changed. If you guys are good to go, if we need to check drugs, we can do that. And then what we'll do, I have a team of folks that we go around the room and we meet with everybody individually just to make sure we're all good for the last 5-10 minutes of the meeting. And then we can just send everybody on their way. If they've got questions about other companies or other plans, we'll either schedule another meeting or, kind of work through that at that point. So it's worked out really well. We've been doing that the past 3 or 4 years since we've been back from COVID. And it works out very well where you can get through a lot of people, like Kevin mentioned. You have to see these people, you got to talk to them. This, what I tell clients, usually in my beginning of my spiel when we're talking is, hey, we're not here to talk about football. We're not here to talk about sports or anything. This is purely about your Medicare. If you want to talk football, you want to hang out in the office, you come see me in February or March. I'm happy to talk all that kind of stuff like that. So this is not a time for us to catch up. This is a time for us to do business. So that's been really successful. And so we've been very happy with that over the past few years. So.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, and let me throw it over to Kevin Trubenbach. I know you're kind of cutting edge AI, a lot of stuff. And you got a large book you're managing as well there at the agency. Out of curiosity, what's your opinion? Like, do you feel you can over communicate with your clients? Just overall, like, is there too much communication agents are doing with clients? How would you speak to that?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. If you do a monthly newsletter, for example, well, now they're unsubscribing, which now at the end of the year, you want to send them out the Medicare seminar invite. Well, guess what? Since they unsubscribe, they're not getting it. So you got to be careful of how much. For us in our office, we do a quarterly one email to our Medicare clients. We do it for the ACA clients. And then as we get closer to open enrollment, then it comes a little bit more. All of our clients, what we have found super successful is texting. We can bulk text out to our clients. The text open rate is 80% higher versus a email open rate at 35%. So those two things right there. But you got to be careful. If you do start hitting these people up, all of us, we get a lot of junk email. You get a weekly email. Weekly is way too. It's too much, and they're going to start unsubscribing. And now, guess what? They're not going to get your emails. So you got to be careful of that.
No, good share. And people might think about their insurance or insurance coverage once or twice a year. So it's that. How do you find them sort of when they're thinking about it right time? And obviously, technology and stuff can certainly come into play. Super. All right, let me throw a question back over to Doug Parrish. Being at the stage you are with your agency life cycle, thinking of it that way, what things do you really want to focus on this year and perhaps in the next few years? So again, thinking about, we got to glance back. We got to know our history and all of our life experience. You've all put yourself in a lot of people's shoes to be as successful as you are. So thinking about that and everything as a life cycle and, where you're maybe at on your life cycle, like glancing back, but focusing forward, what are you going to focus on this year and maybe in the next couple of years?
Yeah. So what we're looking at is taking these leads and doing things with these leads. We've got to focus on making sure we got the right people doing the right thing. I think all of us have been talking about, if you want to do Medicare, do Medicare. If you want to do ACA, do ACA. If you want to do annuities or life or something else, do that and make sure that works for each individual. And then bring them all together as a team and try to stay in touch with them and encourage them and go from there.
Awesome. Appreciate that answer. How about you, Kevin Trubenbach? Same question. What's your focus for 2026 and beyond?
More communication with the current clients. We don't buy leads. We do a lot of outreach to other, we don't sell auto homeowners, so we work with a lot of P&C agencies, work in those angles, financial advisors. So that's what we're going to focus on, and probably focus more to the T65, the people turning 65. But then again, we all have those clients that are paying $500 a month on a Medicare supplement, and they don't want to switch, and that's fine too.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the question, so I came up with it. So let me actually ask everyone that. Kevin Rohde, how would you answer it? Again, where's your focus going to be in the next year or couple of years, as where maybe it was different from the past? Or
Sure. I've got a few things that I'm going to be working on this year. Number one, continue to grow my book of business. Continue to focus on cross-selling. I want to make sure that all the clients I have more than one policy with me. I think that's going to help with retention and long-term persistency. And also focusing a lot on the T65 and the under 65 market. So I can, when they become Medicare age, they're already customers of mine. I've already prepped them that I can do that. And hopefully it just becomes an easy transition from the marketplace to Medicare.
awesome. I feel, James, like that response wants me to now change the question. So feel free to add that. But now I'm gonna.
Sure.
What are you focusing on? And I have to then say, what are your thoughts on ancillary sales? Like, what should agents be doing if they're not doing ancillary sales already?
Yeah, so for 2026, again, growing, stabilizing, I'm really, and again, this is another topic for another day, but, trying to just understand what does AEP look like moving forward in the future? And I know the guys in Wisconsin and Arizona, you probably didn't have as big an issue with this, but most of my work I did this AEP was pro bono. We did not get paid on a majority of the thing. However, I didn't want to just send my people out into the world to go figure out insurance. Here's an 800 number for you. So I felt like we really needed to take care of our people. And then unfortunately we got, oh, hey, my mother's on this plan that's exiting. My aunt, my uncle, we got a ton of that extra business. And a lot of that unfortunately was pro bono. So I'm trying to figure out, yes, I want to grow. And again, our business is going to is growing that T65 because that's the only place we're getting commission this year. So it's very hard to figure out exactly where we're going to go with that. Yes, the ancillary products, you have to do that kind of stuff because it is, there's the Medicare profits are shrinking and they're going away significantly. And it's just a matter of finding out and making that transition. So we're still working through that and trying to figure out what it looks like. It's looking year over year commissions that came in from last year to this year is not a pretty picture so far. I know we got another couple weeks here yet. So it's trying to make sure we understand. Unfortunately, I had to shrink one of my offices. I had to lay somebody off. We're making those tough business decisions because the money's not there. So finding other avenues of income. We're looking at getting the gold experience fully up and running where we had meetings with life insurance to kind of try to do that. So it's making that transition. And I agree with what Kevin said is you have to have a couple products or those people are very loose. They're gonna fall off the wagon, if you will, to other companies and things like that. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting year, and we'll kind of see how all this is panning out.
Love it. Yeah. I've always found trying to get salespeople to sell certain things, if they don't believe in it, they're never going to sell it. And find something you believe in, and then
one of the things I always kind of thought was funny is like, well, you buy a cancer policy or an accident policy, and it's like, okay, well, here's some insurance for your insurance. So it's kind of hard. You got to help people get over that, that stigma of, well, this is insurance for my insurance. I thought I'm buying insurance. So it makes it very hard to you got to make sure you understand. You got to know your comebacks and your answers to those questions. So
100%. I would sometimes say to agents, oh, so you're telling me you have all of your clients perfectly covered. And it's funny because they never really understand the question. They always come back, oh yeah, I take my time. I help them find the right Medicare Advantage plan. I'm like, well, that's not what I'm talking about. What about other coverage issues that they don't even know they have? Well, yeah, but their Medicare is most important. And I'll always say, it is. And if you got a 7-layer cake you're building, you darn right. Your Medicare is your core coverage. That's layer number one. But there's a lot of other things people don't even know about that can really protect them, hedge their risk, keep their financial security and retirement and all that good stuff. Mr.
Absolutely.
Trubenbach, I know you write a fair amount of ancillary out of the office there. Any favorite go-to product, or I'm sure you're going to commit as much as you always do into that diversification as well, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the need. I mean, what I always joke with my clients, everybody has a button. You just got to figure out what that button is. Some people, hey, my mom just died of cancer. Well, then there's people, hey, I have bad teeth. They need dental. So you always, start with the client, what they want to go with, and then hopefully you can fill that void. And that's always, and on our end, as all of the agents here, we work with multiple carriers. We do not just look at, hey, which one's going to pay us the highest commission. It's you got to sell the right product for the right person. And our whole tagline, the commissions will follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the referrals, all sorts of stuff will follow. Hey, Doug, I don't know if JDP does ancillary. Do you guys get in that space much, or?
Yeah, we have, and he's exactly right. Kevin's exactly right. You've got to go ahead and fill those niches in, and find that button, like he says. And cancer, or I've got a client that's got this going on or that going on. Yeah, we need to make sure that we're doing that and following up. How many times have we walked in and saw somebody that's on a dual plan and we go, well, there's nothing we can do. Well, there is. We can still sell them that final expense and that kind of thing. So yeah, there's still things that we can do.
That's awesome. Yeah, I found a few final expense agents this year, some in Minnesota, some in Wisconsin, that just said, hey, I'm going to bridge the gap, flip the switch, and start helping all of my. He's a couple of them were door knockers on the life side. They're going to flip the switch and go to their 400, 700, 800 clients and start helping them with Medicare if they can. So far, so good, folks. Let's wrap up with a really good question here. You're all very experienced. You've seen the ups and downs of the markets. You're all super businessmen. What's the biggest piece of advice you would give to agents that are trying to build their business right now? Maybe a scratch agent or one who's only a few years in and maybe feeling like they're treading water. What would be your best advice to a newer agent out there? And I'll start it right back with Doug, if you want to answer, Doug.
I think the biggest thing for these new agents is make sure you're with the right carrier. And we're seeing many, many guys out there that there's agencies out there that are going out of business. There's agencies out there that aren't doing what they're saying they're going to do. Get on with IFC, and because they do what they say they're going to do. That's all there is to it. And then set up a plan. The time to start planning for AEP is in April. Go ahead and get all that stuff done. Where do you want to focus? What do you want to focus on? What kind of advertising you're going to do? Are you meeting with your broker managers out there for the different carriers and everything? How can they help you? Just different things like that to make sure that okay, now you got a plan. This is how you execute it and go from there.
Very good. Let's roll through the Kevins. How about Mr. Trubenbach?
Yeah, if you're a new agent with 20 years, I always tell people, get a schedule, get a system. If you wake up, if you're just waiting for your phone to ring, you're not going to make new sales. Creating activity brings in those referrals. So get a system in place, have that follow-up. If it's calling your existing book of business, hey, did you get your ID cards? Then you ask them for referrals. There's so many different ways to, no matter what market, new and or experience, but, and try not to get lazy, which it's easy to do.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's kind of like, hey, be a scientist of yourself. In other words, if you're calling them a month after their coverage starts to see if they got their ID card isn't really working, or you're thinking like, well, they all keep saying they've not used it yet or something, so they don't know if it's a good fit. That's okay. Then what? You just change up your practice, right? You change your system and you say, okay, I'm going to call them in 6 months or something. whatever the case may be. But I kind of love that get a system and then be able to adapt probably and grow that system. Unless you got it knocked out of the park, then you know the system you want to implement. I love it. Kevin Rohde, how would you answer that? Best advice you could give? And you're on mute. That's it.
There we go. So for a new agent, I'd tell them, no days off in the beginning. Every day you should be out either seeing people or fighting to see people. So if you're not in an appointment, you should be out prospecting, building centers of influence. If you need help, find someone who's in the business around you that's very successful, get a mentor and learn from that person. Ask for referrals every time. Every time someone calls me now that's a current customer, I ask them for referral. And eventually they're going to, they might not have a need for something, but they might know someone who might need what I have to offer. Tell everybody you know what you do, what products you offer. And it's that ever gets brought up in conversation, they're going to say, hey, I know someone you should call and talk to. That's really what advice I
Great
give.
advice.
Yeah.
No, I love it. James, you want to wrap that up? Question?
Yeah,
Best
all
advice?
good. Yeah, all good points, guys. So, everything that these guys have mentioned is spot on. I think one of the biggest things that I've gotten that's been able to help me and grow in our business is those centers of influence, CPAs, financial advisors. I have at least 4 or 5 financial advisors that are constantly sending us clients. I have a couple of CPA firms that send people our way. One of the biggest things, and I know this is kind of rare to find, but I was lucky enough to find a company that what they do is they go into businesses and they help businesses reduce their group coverage. Okay, you guys have all heard of that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, find somebody that does. But what happens is this third party takes a group and they say, okay, you're 65, you should be on Medicare. And I know this guy, James, and call James, and he's going to get you set up on a Medicare plan. And the company gives them money for not being on the group plan, which then in turn lowers the cost of the group plan. I got into it, kind of stumbled upon it. I was involved with a lawyer firm. And I was helping a few of their senior executives. And all of a sudden, their lawyer firm got bought out by this third party. And all of a sudden, I had to get my Arizona license because they're feeding me Arizona leads. Sorry, Doug. What you call it? I had to double check and get my my father was down in Florida, so he's sending me people. So I had to get my Florida license. Okay, so we all of a sudden I'm helping them with clients all over the country, and it's like, okay, this is pretty cool. And I'm the kind of their go-to guy for Florida, been Arizona, and oh hey, we got this little, because they work with smaller companies and big companies, so we got all that. So I think spheres of influence is huge. One of the things with every single client is, and even when we talk about ACA or under 65 folks, when you're talking to them, sometimes, they got to go on the medical assistance or Medicaid in their state, and you can't necessarily sell them anything. You don't get any commission off it. But hey, I know I can't help you right now, Chris, but in the future, if you need something else, or if you know somebody else that needs help with their health insurance and Medicare insurance, boy, I would just love if you could pass on my name and number. We're here to help. You see, I'm a kind of a no pressure kind of person. So we're here to help. And if you have any friends or family, we do the 30, 60, kind of 90-day. They're loosey goosey. We don't do it exactly that. But we double check with people. Hey, how's everything going? Oh, by the way, do you know anybody? Have you told anybody about this plan? Do you think you know anybody? What about your brothers and sisters? Now, we can't actively call them, so they got to call us, Medicare rules, but you got to plant that seed, and you've got to keep making sure that people know what you do. And you tell them, hey, you know what? You're good right now, but do you know anybody that's not? Anybody that's having any issues with their current policy, or they need to look at something else? Moms, I always kind of throw it out there, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, who do you know that needs help with their Medicare? You're turning 65, who's your friends? And I've had a couple of big groups of 65-year-olds. I had a lady, she's like, can I bring my friends? Sure. I wound up doing a meeting with a dozen people, husbands and wives, and we were in the room doing 12 people that all were turning 65 in the next 6 to 8 months. And I think by asking and keeping on top of those people, if you have a small book of business, 100 clients, you should be calling them right before AEP and getting them geared up. You should be calling them at least once or twice. Once a year is probably fine for most of those brand new people, but I think that constant contact with them, and that personal touch, we send out birthday cards, we do anniversaries, marriage anniversaries, things like that. So kind of a different way to do things. But again, if you keep asking for the referrals, they will keep coming in. I've even had people, oh, I met somebody in my silver sneakers class and they told me to call you. Oh, what was their name? I don't know. You know what I mean? So you're getting referrals, and if you do the right thing and you're always doing the right thing, you'll keep getting referrals. You'll keep getting in front of people.
I love it. Yeah, and it's interesting as we have to evolve and change and adapt and try new things and learn from them. Always win or learn, never fail, just win or learn. A lot of the stuff goes back to the time-tested things that we always did. If you were building an agency in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you were building it on Medicare supplement revenue. And a lot of us saw, well, a lot of you guys, I'm sure, saw the spark with the Medicare Advantage reimbursements, and that could supercharge your agency, give you more revenue to diversify or figure out other applications or tools that could assist the growth. So, yeah, again, it's an honor to be with the four of you. I really appreciate your time. I think again, I'll even include myself. We're all successful because over the years, we put ourselves in a lot of other people's shoes. I think that's where we get some of our sympathy and empathy from, that we really want to take care of each other. We can all admit we've been through challenging times and tough market conditions, and what is ahead can feel uncertain, but in a way, we've all already been through it. We've all grown through change, found opportunities via disruption, and we're oftentimes in this to help people during the bad times, right? Insurance is for the bad days. One thing I love about working for IFC and partnered up with Integrity is Integrity has a tagline. I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's for the good days ahead. And maybe they've, copyrighted it or something, but either way, I think just for a mindset for agents, it's a very good thing to think about when they're working with their clients. Yeah, it's for the bad days, but really it's for the good days ahead. And financial security and retirement obviously goes a long way. So I want to say thanks to all the agent panelists today. Appreciate your time. And with that, now I will go ahead and turn it over to Aaron.
Hello, my name is Aaron Needorf. I'm Executive Vice President of Sales here at IFC National Marketing. And I have the pleasure of managing all sales for all product lines at IFC, which is Medicare and ACA, of course, but we also do a lot of group, and we do a lot in the life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability space, as well as ancillary products, and a few other things mixed in there as well. So I get to manage the sales team, which is a phenomenal honor for me. And with me, I have a small cross-section of the team. We have a pretty large sales team. For their contact info, you can go to the QR links that are in this presentation. We've got a great landing page. You can also go to our website at ifcnationalmarketing.com to get their contact information. So please reach out to the team if there's anything that you need. We would love to hear from you. So I'm going to make some real quick introductions, and then we'll go from there. So to my left, we've got Don Teagues, who's our concierge director. Don will explain more about what he does, but his focus is to work with agents that don't want to do life insurance, long-term care, disability annuities, products like that, or maybe you don't have the inclination or time to do it. So Don's a great partner on that front. We've got Audrey Villeneuve, who's on our Medicare and ACA side of things. She's got some counterparts throughout the country that do the same thing, and their role is to help agents market for best practices, for expanding your agency, recruiting, things like that. So they can help with anything on the business development side of things. And go to our website to get their contact info. Then we've got Naomi Buey. Naomi runs our health support team. If you haven't used them, know that they're there as a resource for you on the Medicare ACA side, as well as ancillary products, small group. They are a great resource for you. They're sort of the first stop before you call an insurance company. So they can help with anything from product compliance, marketing materials, all sorts of things. So give them a call if you need some help. And then last we have Gintis Garces. And Gintis wears a couple hats. One, he's on the Medicare and ACA side in the Dakotas and Nebraska and Iowa. But he also has a ton of experience in the benefit side, and we think that's going to be a growth engine for us this year. It's been growing over the last number of years. We've got a lot of agents that really want to expand into the benefit side of things, and he's got a ton of experience there, and it's kind of really where he started. So we asked him to join us today on that front. So what we want to do today is really make sure you're aware of all of the resources, tools, technology, and products that you have access to. And the great thing about being affiliated with IFC is we do all the things you can see on the screen, but also you as an independent agent, as an independent broker that has a life insurance and a health insurance license, you have the ability to diversify your practice, and we can support you with all those things. So we're seeing a ton of demand from agents who are predominantly in Medicare and ACA that want to diversify their business. And you can see all the things that you have access to, things that you can do on that front. So make sure that you know that we're here to help you with all of those things. We've seen double-digit growth in a lot of areas, like ancillary, for instance, just took off last year, especially in the hospital indemnity side for obvious reasons. If you do decide to diversify your business, just know that you're not alone. I mean, we're here to either teach you how to fish or fish for you. We can do either one of those things, and we can do as much or as little as you need on that front. But if you're new to a particular product line, I suggest you keep it really simple. Like, you don't need to be necessarily a top to bottom expert in everything that you have access to, because you have a team to rely on. So don't worry so much about product technicalities. We'll help you with that. But if you want to get into life insurance, as an example, final expense is really simple. Simplified issue, guaranteed issue, very short applications. It's easy to understand. Clients understand it. It's a very easy way to get into the life insurance business. And you can take it a step further and get into, dying too soon, living too long, or getting sick along the way, which is the 3 threats marketing process. And that's something that Don has done a lot of. We've got agents that are using that really successfully right now. On the long-term care side, if you're sitting in a Medicare meeting, of course, you got to stay within scope. But you can use that scope to tell people what Medicare doesn't cover. Long-term care is one of those things, right? So plant that seed and set up a meeting for a later date. So we're seeing a lot of Medicare agents getting more into the long-term care side of things. Of course, it's clients that are thinking about that. They know about it, but they're interested in it. So we can help you on that front as well. And then annuities. Annuities have really taken off. I mean, we've seen double-digit growth in that year over year for the last 5 years. And the industry expects to do at least $450 billion of annuity sales again this year. So there is demand for that. There's no question about it. There's some really easy strategies you can use. The first is just beat the bank. So if you look at CD rates, interest rates on savings accounts, fixed annuities are way more competitive than what you can get in a bank. So it's a really simple conversation, easy to do, easy process. And the other thing that we're seeing a lot of is income retirement. So giving somebody a guaranteed retirement, so ensuring their retirement. So income annuities is really kind of where we're seeing most of the annuity sales. And backing up for a second, on the life and annuity side, life insurance, Mike Maloney and Wade Hubers and his internal counterpart, they can help you with anything life, long-term care, disability related. On the annuity side, we've got Jen Wick and we have Sam Stenson. So find their contact info in the links that we provided in the presentation, or go to our website, reach out. So if you do decide to diversify your business, we are here to help you with that. You are not alone. So we can either teach you how to fish, and you can do it yourself, or we can fish for you. And what I mean by that is we'll help you get confident, comfortable to go out and present a particular product type, get into a new market, or you can bring in our team to do it for you. So we do, like I said, a lot of training. You can ask if you want one-on-one training, we will do that for you. If you want group training, we do a lot of webinars. We're going to do some in-person training at our office in Coon Rapids. We've got our agent builder program, which we'll talk more about later. But take advantage of all that. Our carriers do a lot of training, and Integrity does a lot of training. So, and beyond that, we've got all of the marketing material, all of the support, the technology, and our gold experience that we'll touch on again later on in the presentation. But just know that you are not alone. We will help you with all of those things. I'm going to talk just a little bit about life and annuities because that's an easy product or products for you to transition to. And a lot of our best Medicare or best life and annuity agents are Medicare agents or ACA agents first and foremost. And they added that later on and make it part of their everyday discussions with their clients, and they've integrated into their marketing. So some of our top agents in those lines really started in the Medicare business. And the reality is, you as agents, if you have a book of business, you've got what every agent wants, which is prospects. So on the life insurance side, there's some really easy strategies you can see on the screen to get going. It doesn't have to be complicated. Again, you can keep it really simple. So final expense is a really easy one to get into. Simplified issue, guaranteed issue, that's really easy to sell, really easy to explain, and that's a really good first start. Beyond that, we've got, again, support and training for things like 3 threats, and that's something Don has done a lot of. He's done a lot of presentations on that. I know he's got some things coming up on that too, but it's an easy conversation about dying too soon, living too long, or getting sick along the way, right? It's a really easy message where you can use permanent life insurance to solve all of those issues. On the long-term care side, we're seeing a lot of that as well, especially on the asset-based side of things or hybrid products. You can use the scope of appointment to tell people what Medicare doesn't cover. It doesn't cover long-term care. Okay, you can't talk about it in that meeting, but you can plant the seed for a conversation in the future. And we're seeing agents do a ton of that as well. There's hybrid products. We've got some non-traditional products like True Freedom, which is not a true insurance product, but more of a subscription-based product. And then on the annuity front, annuities are in really high demand, and they are not complicated. They might sound complicated if you haven't done it. We expect, the industry expects at least $450 billion of annual annuity sales in 2026. They are in high demand, and that's an easy one to do. You can put rates up in your office. Call our annuity team. So Jen Wick and Sam Stenson, they'll get you annuity rates. You can put it on the board in your office. You can advertise in the local newspaper, send out a newsletter to your clients. It's easy to beat the bank. The way annuity rates work right now, you're going to beat the bank every time in terms of CDs, savings accounts, things like that. But the other side of things is guaranteeing a pension, guaranteeing somebody's retirement. So income annuities. That's where we're seeing a ton of play right now on the annuity side, and we can help you with all that. And to back up for a second, on the life insurance side, you got Mike Maloney and Wade Huber that can help you with all those things as well. So they'll get you trained, comfortable, confident, and get you ready to go out and sell life insurance and annuities. In the event that you don't want to do that, like you're uncomfortable, you don't have time, you don't want to learn the products, the process, then we've got our concierge team. And that's where Don Teagues comes in. So we've got to solve for that. So Don, if you would tell everybody what you do, how you work, and what your process looks like.
All right. Thank you so much, Aaron. So Don Teagues, concierge director, been in the business for about 20 years. And the first 8 years was sitting in your seat. You know, I could take that, right?
There you go.
Thank you. Sitting in your seat, right? Sitting in your seat, belly to belly, face to face, client facing sales, right? The last 12 years, I've been in the FMO, IMO space where I was just doing exactly what I'm doing today, is helping agents get sales, whether it's life insurance, annuities, long-term care, across the finish line. So what is concierge, right? So concierge, so if life insurance, annuities, long-term care, if that's outside of your wheelhouse, right? Or if you're not comfortable with it, or simply you just don't have the time, then you have a dedicated person for you to help you with those sales, right? You just plug me in to where you see fit. And we'll do case designs together. We'll do client presentations together. We'll go on the apps together, right? And webinar support, webinar and workshop support. What Aaron was saying, we have the 3 threats to your retirement income. That's actually getting the phones to ring, right? So it's introducing those concepts to your clients. And just remember, you own the relationships, right? I'm just an extension of your office, right? I work for you. So why would you want to do this, right? Why does it matter? Well, your clients have unmet insurance needs. And those unmet insurance needs become opportunities for you to make money. You've built those relationships already, so that money is already sitting inside your book of business. It's already yours, right? It's already your money. We just have to go and get it. And, through it all, those people who actually concentrate and actively cross-sell their book of business will see an average of $150 per client in additional revenue. So if you have 100 clients, that's what? That's what, $15,000 worth of additional revenue? Throwing it to you. $15,000 of additional revenue. But if you have 1,000 clients, right, that's a lot of money. So what would that do for you and for your family's lifestyle? So what's next? How do we work together, right? So first of all, just give me a call. Let me know if you want to do it yourself, we do it together, or we do it for you, right? Because these three things will make you money, right? Not doing it won't make you money, right? So just give us a call and we'll mine your book of business. We'll possibly do one of those webinars and we'll get the phones to ring. And just remember, once that happens, then we're off to the races and you're ready to make that extra money. And again, you own the relationships. I'm just an extension of your office and we'll make money together.
All right, and now off to Chris Kleisner with the National Carrier Update.
All right. Thanks, Don, for that introduction and handoff. I appreciate it. So I want to talk a little bit today. My name is Chris Kleisner. I'm the Regional Director of Medicare and Health in the state of Wisconsin, primarily for IFC. I get the pleasure of helping agents find the wins, and that's what we're going to talk about today is finding those wins. So looking at the slide here, you see I'm going to work through it like a clock. So ancillary product strategy. If you don't have one, you definitely need one. And my best advice there, and IFC can help, is find some coverage and plans that you believe in. If you don't believe in it, you're never really going to sell it. So the whole premise is find coverage and plans that your clients need, that you believe in, and nothing can stop you. Now it's important to diversify your business, collect that additional revenue. Even if you don't need it today, build it up. It's going to pay off in the future. Get comfortable with Medicare supplement plans. It was talked about earlier today from some of our integrity partners, whether it's a rebirth or whatever you want to call it, you really want to be able to position not just Medicare Advantage, but Medicare supplement plans to your clients as well. Often you spend less time retaining them year to year. And if they're happy with the plan and the way it's working, which most of them are, it's kind of a set it and forget it. And then you can help them fill in gaps elsewhere. Focus on your marketing this year. And I'll talk in a moment about Gold Experience. Nothing's going to help you scale in an all done for you marketing platform like Gold Experience, but you got to stay in front of the turning 65s. You got to utilize resources from IFC and definitely let us know what you need and how we can help. Have a plan to handle Part D. I spoke to a client that spent his agency over 62 hours last AEP helping clients on standalone Part D drug plans where they were paid nothing. They got no commission. Start it now. Don't wait until September and October to maybe start messaging your clients that it's going to look a little different, encouraging them to go out to Plan Finder, get out to Medicare.gov, create an account, and start doing that kind of self-service. Because not a lot of agents are going to be helping clients in that area. And then there's excellent integrity proprietary products. Mr. Kimball talked about that, whether it's INA, Wellaby, Manhattan Life, a lot of great options out there through the integrity proprietary products. And then new products. IFC has a wonderful exclusive alternative to ACA plan. If you want something so you're not saying no to your clients or I got nothing for you other than the marketplace, definitely reach out to us so we can tell you about the private health plan that we have exclusively for IFC agents. So with that, the Gold Experience is the next thing, and here's a short video on that.
The Gold Experience is a proprietary omni-channel marketing program from IFC that is designed to help you as an independent insurance agent or financial advisor protect your book of business, attract new clients, and make the future you dream of for yourself and your business a reality. Your clients are buying a variety of protection products, so why not give them the option to buy from you? Unfortunately, there are limited hours in a day, and most agents and agencies don't have the hours or manpower to maximize all the potential in their book of business. The good news, you ask? IFC and the Gold Experience is here to help. We've created a robust library of done-for-you email marketing campaigns and a library of social media content and downloadable print materials to make marketing and cross-selling a snap. If you don't have the time to learn and cross-sell other products, IFC has a solution for you. Our concierge team will partner with you to handle everything for you on a commission split basis. You maintain the client relationships because our experts act as an extension of your office. Remember, if you don't take control of the information and sales on these opportunities, then you're effectively letting the fox into your henhouse.
All right, so the Gold Experience, it's an all-in-one marketing platform. Why the Gold Experience application is necessary for agents in today's climate? Because it gets you out in front of more prospects, manages your client engagement and retention, and gives you the marketing support you need, and 100% answers the question, how can I grow and scale my business in a way that I'm in control of and can turn on and off? What it does, it's an all-in-one platform, automated with all the marketing done for you. So when you think about your emails, people can access their email anywhere and at any time. And one of the key areas agents are missing out is in the email space. And the key to it all is really automation. So where hopefully you see the value of investing now into marketing, investing into a platform that's going to save your time and money, by doing that, while other agents might be cutting their marketing budget, just treading water, that only helps you as they're dropping out of the mailboxes and inboxes on prospecting new clients. So focusing on a marketing budget that's not going to break the bank, that's Gold Experience. The best way for me to sum it up with the time I have today is to say this: Imagine you wake up July 4th and your social media posts this 4th of July are done. You have 4 form fills in your email inbox, along with 3 emails from prospects directly responding to your email. It's the 4th, so no one calls. But tomorrow your phone starts ringing more than once. Everyone who turned 65 in your book received their first of 3 T65 emails from you, all branded you, from your mailbox, your company logo, your headshot. And 6 semi-annual plan check-in emails have gone out to clients, along with 11 happy birthday emails that clients absolutely love. And the best part of all of that, you're still in your pajamas. So that's how I'd summarize the Gold Experience. It's all automated, done for you. All you really do is bring us your ideas, and allows you to focus on other sales-related and high payoff activities. Some assets, it's all in there. We're building stuff all the time. You can tap into journeys and email campaigns we already have created. But again, you bring us your ideas, we'll create the content. You're essentially getting a marketing team behind you. The best part, it's all professionally done. It's seamless. And the other thing I want to mention is for agents who do sign up for the Gold Experience, in 2026, we are providing a free 1,000 leads right up front to the zip codes you want when you sign up for Gold. So right away, we're going to help you build your T65 sales funnel. The best-in-class tech and technology lead acquisition, IFC really can't be beat, whether it's Integrity Connect, which I believe Naomi's going to talk a little bit about, as an enrollment quoting tool, Plan Enroll, which gets out scopes and drug lists and allows you to capture all your client information so you go to an appointment prepared. Life insurance, Life Center. We also have Lead Center. Just a ton of marketing and lead acquisition at a low cost that IFC can do for you. Some of our turnkey options, our T65 oversized postcard mailer is a slam dunk for agents. Any agent listening to this right now probably qualifies for that. And just imagine an oversized happy birthday postcard going out to clients in the zip codes you want. Again, all branded you with your logo, your headshot, your contact information. And that's, again, done for you and free from IFC with pretty minimum production requirements. Reach out. We'll talk with you about what those are, get you going on that plan. Within the IFC portal itself, the agent's login and website at IFC, we handle compliance for you. You have a print shop out there. You can get swag from there, business card templates, all the little things you do to market and run your company. IFC has solutions and programs and services that available. So if you haven't tapped into our marketing support, haven't been on our website enough, definitely get out to your wholesaler, person like me, a regional director, whatever state you're in or whoever your person is, and put us to work for you. It's what we do. We enjoy doing it, and we want to help. Then there's additional programs that you can be eligible for, discounted significantly through IFC. You can see a few of them on the screen here. A couple of them that are really good. If you want to get into social media, Sandra Gephardt's a social media consultant, and she's phenomenal. She can set your whole year on what you could be posting, things like that. She is a consultant, so we can connect you with Sandra if you want to start getting into and figuring out how to capitalize on social media for lead gen and client retention. We have RSSA, which is Registered Social Security Advisor. That's a really cool designation. We get you a very steep discount off that. And it's really good for lead gen. Plus, it gives you the ability to charge a fee for consulting with the client and helping them maximize their choice of when and how they should choose and take their Social Security benefit. If you help them, then it's like Velcro. They're certainly going to be looking for you when they turn 65. And then Leading Response is wonderful. That's a kind of all done for you turnkey seminar program. So don't spend your time calling the hotels, booking the room, calling clients and prospects, trying to get them driven into a seminar. If they're happy and want to talk to you on the phone, sell them over the phone. The point isn't to get them to a seminar, it's to sell them. So help them out. So the beautiful thing about Leading Response is there's a price on it, but they guarantee butts and seats, 4 per quarter. And when you turn that on in an oversized postcard mailing and emails from Gold Experience, and you just layer on your touch points and marketing approach, honestly, really nothing can stop you. So I got one more thing, sorry about that. Agent Builder. Agent Builder program's pretty unique to IFC. Saw a need for that from agents and agencies out there. There's different ways you can put an agent or take it yourself, put an agent through Agent Builder, such as in person. What's becoming more popular is the virtual. Also, it's a lower cost. But Frankie Villeneuve handles that for IFC. We can do large virtual. We can do large classroom. It's a lot of flexibility. And then it's not just Medicare. It's ACA. It can be annuity. It can be life, some group stuff. So, some agents even want to send a few of their LOA or W-2 agents through the course for just professional development, just to grow. I've had some agents decide to do that as well. So agent program is pretty super as well. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Naomi.
Thank you, Chris. Now we're going to talk about ancillary and hospital indemnity cheat sheet. No, your eyes are not going bad. It is very, very small, but that's what that QR code is for you to scan it. Or you're going to call the health team, email the health team and ask them that you want the hospital indemnity cheat sheet. We wanted to pick the top plans that we use and we suggest, and that's what is on here. Then we're going to go to our dental and vision cheat sheet. On here, yes, it states that it's for Minnesota, but we have this for all of the states. All you have to do is reach out and ask for us if that's something that you would like. Again, eyes are not going bad. You have that QR code. Scan it. If you have issues trying to scan it, reach out to the health team. Call us, email. We will be there to help you. Now we're going to talk about some other stuff. Ancillary, we just showed you a couple of screens and we talked earlier about how ancillary, there was a big uptick. There was 200+% in increased sales. That means you guys wanted to increase your commissions and just help your members better and keep the hen in the hen house. Keep the people in the hen house. However Todd says it, you want to keep those people in your house. The fox out of the hen house. There you go. Dominating right now is the Manhattan Life. Manhattan Life is not as prominent in Minnesota, but for you, all of you in all of the other states, You guys are going to be happy because you are going to love Manhattan Life. Again, if you need some information about Manhattan Life, reach out to the health team, call us, email us, or if you just want to go ahead and get contracted, contact our contracting team. They'll be able to get you contracted with that. For a couple of states, there's a new house rule, MedSup house rule. It's called number 4. If you guys have some different things going on in your state, please check that out. Make sure that you are current up to the new regulations. Integrity Connect updates. I keep wanting to switch it. I feel so powerful with this little stick in my hand. Integrity Connect. What is Integrity Connect? It's formerly known as Medicare Center. It will always be Medicare Center to me. So when I'm talking to you, it's Medicare Center. No, it's Integrity Connect. They have a lot of new changes. They are changing constantly. Some of their new changes are agent and agency view. You can toggle between seeing your agent, seeing your stuff, or your agency, your agents that are underneath you. There's Retire Flow. It's an API that's connected to the Integrity Connect. That is fabulous. And if you want to know more about that, please reach out. We can help you on that. There's a view as option. You can also assign somebody to be able to view your Integrity Connect information. Again, just be careful of who you are sharing that information with. The MedSup quoting, for those of you who are doing your Medicare supplement quoting and you're going to CSG, soon that's going to be under Integrity Connect, the Medicare Center side. You'll be able to get everything there. You won't have to go to CSG. Will the fill the gap option be on the Medicare Center side yet? No, so you still will want to go to CSG for that. A new thing also that is coming, that before with Integrity Connect, you used to have to be ready to sell. Well, as you know, it's not just Medicare Center anymore. There's Life Center, Wealth Center. All of that is underneath the Integrity Connect umbrella. So a lot of life carriers are just-in-time states, so they had to change that. So you should be able to go in, sign up for an account. If you can't, please reach out to us. Another reason why you want to have that access is because there's benefits that are available to you. I'm not going to talk about all of them that are available, but here are some options that we have right here. Office Max, Delta, Amazon, Enterprise. Those are some pretty awesome ones. And then call IFC, reach out to IFC, ask IFC. We're here to help you. We're here to help you with your questions. We're here to, if you want to vent, we are here to support you. We have kits, applications, all of that stuff. And don't just call us if you're having an issue. Call us when you want to celebrate something. You have a win. Let's celebrate it together. We care about you. You're part of our family, and we celebrate with our family. And now I forgot one of the most important things. My team, they're there, fabulous. Road shows, they're coming, they're starting. March 3rd is the first one in St. Cloud. Be there or be square. And there's going to be this new amazing person you will want to hear about. He might be in person or it might be recorded, depending upon the location. His name is Sam Richter. You do not want to miss what he has to say. And now, I'm turning it over to Ginta. Yeah.
Thank you, Naomi.
Yeah.
So my name is Ginta Skarsis, and I really wanted to spend a moment today to talk to you guys about an opportunity for a really good win in the benefits space. Now, traditionally, the benefits market has really been somewhat of an underserved market in different areas. And it is a great market that, even though it's competitive, the reality is that it can be very reachable for success for an agent when they are provided with the right resources. And what that will do for you as an agent is it'll create great opportunities for cross-selling other lines, as well as leading to greater diversification and stability within your block of business. Now, about 6 months ago, we started really digging into our current benefit offering and putting a lot of energy and effort to try to make sure that we're offering the right package and products for you. And what we did is we went out, we polled different agents, we evaluated all of our carrier contracts, and we compared everything that we had for tools and technology versus what the agents said they really felt like they needed in order to level the playing field. And what we found is that there are several areas where agents really felt like they needed help. Things like quoting and enrollment tools, quoting support, different forms of technology in terms of compliance documents, as well as renewal analysis, unique products, even things like lead sources, as well as marketing support and systems. And I'm really, really happy today to be able to tell you that we actually are very excited about a few things that we have coming down the road that are really going to help move the needle for you as an agent working in the benefit space. One of the things that we started with is we did a little bit of restructuring of our already great group team. We did bring over Troy Stenzel from the health team, and we have Todd Stead as well, obviously still there, as well as Michael Olthop helping out with concierge. In addition to that, we have some great subject matter experts in Ian Ross, who is an ICRA expert from his former life, as well as Zena, who is also a small group expert as well, that are going to be supporting us on the health team. From there, we also begin to look at different marketing programs. Audrey already talked about the Gold Experience. That is actually a really great product for the group side. As a matter of fact, it can help you market to your current clients, cross-sell, increase that revenue from there. But in addition to that, you can also use it in conjunction with other tools to also drip and create a better opportunity to get in front of new group clients. We also are bringing in new lead sources like Judy Diamond that can bring you 5,500 filings and other ways to get in touch with group carriers. And then to help you close the deal, we've brought in great tools from Sam Richter and AI tools that'll actually help you evaluate the business you're selling to and give you a strategy to help have a better opportunity to close that new business and bring them over to your book. Now, in addition to that, we've formed some very big strategic partnerships. Some of those include things like MedSurity, where you'll be able to save on compliance documents and other TPA support, as well as Anuvi, which will be able to support you in COBRA administration. We're also going to spend time regularly evaluating our products to make sure that we can bring the most cutting-edge products that can bring value to your clients, to give you an opportunity to be unique in the marketplace and have a good story to tell, which we all know as benefit brokers that it's very relationship-driven, and the story you tell is very important. Now, some of those partnerships that we're bringing in are going to include things like our new level funded carrier that also has an ACA alternative. That carrier is a nationwide carrier. It's missing in 5 states, unfortunately not in Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. But if you're outside of that market, you have a real unique opportunity to bring a unique level funding product to your client that has some very, very cool features. Now, in addition to that, we've also been spending time evaluating different PEO relationships and other unique carriers such as individual MEC providers and such, as well as new ancillary carriers. So we're really hopeful that with all of the different new tools, technology, and packages that we're going to be bringing, that we have an opportunity again to create that great win for you. Now, that might create the issue of staffing. The great news is, or maybe you don't have the experience in the benefit space, the Agent Builder program does also include a whole segment on the benefits package, which is an absolute great tool. We've actually had several agents go through it, and it's been extremely helpful in getting them off their feet and getting them up and running.
Oh, hell, I was watching the show. One of the other cool benefits that we didn't mention to you is 50% off of Cinemark and AMC theaters on prices of tickets and stuff. So that's pretty cool. You have up to 50% discount on tickets, and therefore the popcorn and the pop. All right, one of the things that we learned all day today, we've had carrier panels. You've listened to Chris Kleisner talk to some top partner offices, and we've talked to marketing ideas. And some of the things that we're finding is that there's going to be a little different pressure on different companies and how they build their apps and how they build their benefit packages. You know, it's kind of a no duh, no shit. You can't give away all these freebies and expect your plan to be able to say the same price. I think we all kind of understood it. We had Jerry Melgar from Medica here earlier today on this call. You didn't get to hear from him, but he talked about, you know, when you get your property and casualty, you don't get free oil changes. Why did Medicare decide that was going to be important? So we talk a little bit about, you heard from Ryan Kimball and a couple of the other people talk about the CMS rules that just came out, didn't look that favorable, a 0.9% increase. Ryan believes I did a longer podcast with Ryan. I taped that on Monday. It'll be coming up here by the end of the month, along with a bunch of other podcasts that I've done here over the last year. He feels that after debate and kind of back and forth, he thinks that number will be closer to 3%. And if 3% gets added back into a reimbursement rate on a national average of about $1,200 a month, we're looking at creating enough room that the commission is no longer a piece of that. That's pretty close to somewhere 3 to 4.5 is about the commission load on that reimbursement rate. He also talked about the improved billing practices built into that CMS rule that will stop some of the maybe interesting billing techniques of some of the facilities as they charge the insurance companies. So they're looking for new ways to kind of help. We heard from the carriers also about collaborating, and we're finding new Medicare Advantage plans are actually widening their footprints. We actually, next week, I'm going to be talking to a new carrier looking to get into Minnesota after the hailstorm that they went through. And you're going to see a lot more Medicare supplement. Chris Kolowich talked about the new Chubb product, the INA product. That's all year play, and it also works in birthday states. And as the premium may not improve but get higher, so will the commissions as a percentage of the premium. So those are some things that kind of come out of a silver lining issue that may look like it's a way to kind of right set and create some value. We had some agents talk, and we had some partner offices talk about new marketing plans and things that they're going to do. We heard about Don Teagues and Gintis Garces offering some concierge in the group side, along with things that Don talked about with, teach you how to fish or go ahead and fish for you. We heard about, a gold experience and how you can blow up your marketing and really maximize that an additional $150 per member per year. We also have Todd Stead that talk to you about ICRA and using that as a group option. We just have a number of marketing ideas and things, and we'll help you get kind of better at your job. We saw, and we've heard from agents that have become community leaders, and we've looked at some things, and one of my first podcasts was with Gabe Isaacson, who worked for McKinsey and is now at Integrity, and he talked about the power of your relationship with your client. He said that if you send a note to your client, either in an email or mail, it's 40 to 60% more likely for them to either click on it or open it, other than just being sent by the insurance company with some information. So that relationship is going to start to become leveraged and monetized. So your ability to drive the healthcare experience from the agent's place is going to be profitable also, and it's going to be monetized. They know it. I'm going to point at, this is where the carrier sat earlier today. They know what your relation is above what their relationship is. 40 to 60 times better. So with that in mind, I want to talk a little bit about we've been marketing in South Dakota, and I've become enamored with these buffaloes. And buffaloes are pretty cool. And what I wanted to tell you about is why buffaloes are kind of neat. The Indian word for them is tatanka. And what they decide to do is when a storm comes, the only animal in the world that does this is the buffalo. And they actually bear into the storm and walk or run through it. So they spend half the time in the storm. They understand the storm. They kind of embrace the grind. They put their network of children and women and whatever behind them, old, and they bear the brunt of it. And that's what you guys did this fall. You bared the brunt of it. It's almost like waking up from a nightmare that, you thought, well, thank God it wasn't a nightmare until you checked your pocketbook and it was a nightmare. But that whole idea of the tatanka or the buffalo is something I'd like you guys to kind of look at. As a matter of fact, we got a little carried away with this idea, and at IFC when we for our Christmas party, I had a buddy do a big 5-foot mural. He's an artist, and he did showing a buffalo as it comes through the storm, full of snow, full of everything, huffing through the sub-zero weather, and just getting shit done. And that's what they do. That's what we do. That's why IFC loves working with you guys. You're badasses. I know it's probably not an appropriate name, but this was an appropriate AEP. Anyhow, we did get some questions earlier on. Talked about things. Are carriers expected to withhold commissions again this fall? We don't have a crystal ball. But what we do know is that there's a lot of momentum for figuring out ways to have it bring in. If we can get that reimbursement in that 3% up, things will help. We're seeing different product that's able. And you guys have a new skill set too that for marketing the hospital indemnities and all these other different products that we can start to leverage and get better options from you. The all-year med sup pays that commissionable pays, and then we do know some companies that are trying to get into markets that they haven't been in. So we're really excited about this. We usually have a very big agent event in the fall. We are not going to have that this year. It's not time for a celebration. What we are going to do is we're going to have a best practices day. We're going to teach people how to be better business people, how to save money on running their business. We have huge discounts that we give you from integrity in our relationship at Staples and Office Max, up to 40, 50% on just paper and cartridges. This is real money if you start adding these things up. We'll be doing best practices in taxes, marketing, using AI, and this trying to give you better content for you to drive better revenues. We may have a happy hour, but that'll probably be about it. We're just going to scale that back, and then we're running that money back out to help you do seminars, get you some leads, vet some things for you, help you market out of this issue. So with that being said, if you have any questions, if some things you heard today, you went, I don't quite get that or whatever, shoot us notes. Shoot info at IFC or Todd at IFC National Marketing, Naomi, however you get it to us. Smoke signals, I don't really care. But we're here to help, we're in your corner. And so IFC always does things a little unique, right? Usually if you come to one of our events, there's a happy hour, and we decided Tatanka was kind of a neat rallying cry. Kind of sounds like a toast to me. So what we did at the end of our Christmas party is we all opened up a beverage, and then here's Tatanka to all you badasses. Have a great year.